Hey guys, it's Marshall Ting with your Superior Ag Insurance Ringside report for this past week, the week of September 3rd through the 9th. So we've had a great week across the state of Kentucky as far as your cattle market's concerned, and this week has been a little unusual in two fashions. Number one, our numbers have been dead on what it was this time last year. So we sold 15,222 head of cattle this past week. This time, same time a year ago, we only sold 15,248, I think. So very, very minuscule difference. We're actually on par for once. Now, if you compare it to last week, you're going to be down about 5,000 head. But again, don't forget you had a holiday Monday, and that had a big effect on some of your Monday. A lot of your Monday barns were closed down, or if they did have cattle, they were open for business. There wasn't enough cattle in the barn to start up a good dust fight. So that's where I think you're seeing your 5,000 head difference. Now, what are we seeing in this market trend? Well, if you look at the USDA report, they're going to call it unevenly steady, between $2 to $4 lower to $2 to $4 higher. If you want my 2 cents on it, you're just seeing lower lows and higher highs. The averages are staying the same on these cattle, but the bottoms on these things, you had $1.68 5 weights and $1.71 4 weights on the bottom end of things. So naturally, that is going to change your differences. But if you look at the tops are still way over that $3 mark in some instances. Let's talk about these things. Now, before I go any farther, the yearling cattle market this past week was really, really strong. I'm going to call your yearlings as a whole steady to $4 higher, some instances sharply higher. We had a big string of 8 weights that really rocked the bank and had some light 8s that really kicked the can. I mean, it was really, really strong trade on these things. But let's talk about these 4-weight cattle like I was talking about, this unevenly steadiness. So as far as your 4-weight steer cattle are concerned, I'm going to call them 270 on an average. But again, here's where you're seeing your lows and your highs to make that difference. Your bottom on this side was $1.71, top was 302.5. That is a huge spread. That's probably the biggest spread we've had in quite some time as far as cattle being recorded on this USDA spread. Normally we're within that $20 to $30, $40 on a big spread. 60 we had sometimes, but this is a huge spread on this cattle, and I think this is where you're seeing some of this unevenly steadiness. Now, as far as what's causing it, buyer selectivity. These cattle that aren't weaned, aren't preconditioned, aren't sure enough ready to go is taking a little bit of a hit. Now, at the same time, if those cattle are weaned, preconditioned, ready to turn out, forget about them. You're seeing an extra premium on them. We're fixing to come into October. Your weather's fixing to start to change quite a bit. You're going from dry, wet, hot, cold, the whole gamut, and that's put a lot of stress on these cattle. So that's where I think you're seeing it. Now, let's talk about these 5 weights. Again, I'm going to call your 5-weight steer cattle this week somewhere around that 260 mark, 260 to 265, maybe 257 on some, but as a whole, 260. But again, here's your spread on these things, $1.68 all the way to $2.92. That is a massive spread. It's a $1.30 spread across the same weight range as recorded as number ones. So that's a huge difference that you're seeing. Now, all in all, like I said, your highs keep getting higher, and that really looks optimistic. Now, let's talk about what your yearlings are doing. So your yearlings, call them steady to $4 higher, some instances sharply higher, and check out these numbers on these things. Now, as a whole, before I go any farther, I do want to say, as a whole, most of your 8-weight steer cattle this past week are going to be between 240 and 245, but check these things out. Now, here's a big string of them. Here's 65 head of these. These are black steers, 813 pounds on average. Ready for this? 252.25. That is a rocking trade and a very, very high premium, but check it out. We got some more coming. It's going to be just as good. So here's 60 head of these are blacks with Charolais. And when I say Charolais, they've just got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 head in them. Not enough to really cause a difference, but they do have some Charolais in them. 832 pounds on average, 244.75. But get ready for this. Here's a massive string of them. Here's 308 head of black steers, about 24 Charolais in them if I can remember correctly. 871 pounds on the average, 246.75. So that is a huge premium on a mid to heavy 8-weight steer calf. That's a really good sign. That's way over the CME feeder cattle index as far as your highs are concerned on this set that brought 252. But talking about the CME feeder cattle index, let's talk about it real fast. So it's steadily increased throughout the week. So Monday the 4th, 247.81 was your CME feeder cattle index. Tuesday the 5th, 247.49. By the time Wednesday rolled around, 249.93. So that's a pretty good, that's a $2 jump. Good sign. We keep getting higher. Thursday the 7th, 249.21, and then we closed out the week extra high on Friday at 250.42. So it's gradually increased all the way up through the week. So that's an optimistic sign as we get to look forward into this upcoming week as far as your big groups and your loads of cattle are concerned. But if you have any questions about this information, or if you have any questions about an LRP policy, right now there is no better time to invest in one of those. If you think about your total dollars you're investing in this calf crop, that adds up quickly. Now would be a great time for an LRP policy, a livestock risk protection policy. If you have any questions on one of those, feel free to reach out to the guys. Call Ian Thomas at 859-613-2453 or call Adam Shoemaker at 859-338-4116. Check them out on the web, www.superioragins.com. As always, thank you so much. Look forward to talking to you soon.